Alright, here we go. We're going to attempt to make a recording for low-level attacks for airfields and SAM sites. Hopefully it doesn't stutter very much. Last time I tried this, it was pretty bad. Alright, so Montrose, some of the other 16 guys have all been talking about doing these low-level pop-up attacks. I'll kind of show you what we do, how you can look at doing it on the way in, and what it looks like through the attack. We'll do drop with Mark 82 Snake Eyes on the airfield, and then we'll do one with Mark 97 cluster bombs on a SAM site. So, here we are in the Syria map, and we want to take down Aleppo. Well, there is a ring of SAMs around it. You can see all the overlapping radar ranges. Each of these is an SA3 or an SA2 SAM site. There might be one SA6 in there. Nothing terribly dangerous for this, but this works on SA10s and SA11s as well. You just have to stay lower, and your chances of surviving are lower. Yada yada, better stuff. So, first thing we want to do is, when you're doing this, you want to look at the contours. This has a lot of ranges that run north to south. We're going to fly directly in because I'm not sure I'm going to make it there anyway due to aircraft. But what you would ordinarily want to do is probably fly up north here, come down with the terrain so you're not constantly popping up and over valleys. Pick a nice low valley, fly down that to the target. So instead of doing that, we're going to be not smart and come right over all these ridges and still try to do the same thing. I usually select my loadout before I start up. Start with this. And we're just going to take a pair of Mark 97s on the inner pylons and a pair of Snake Eyes on the outer. And we don't need the pod. You can use the pod to designate waypoints or designate a target if you don't know where it is, but for this we're going to be using the circles and we won't need it.
Request rearming.
So.
Copy.
Just to adjust the volumes a little bit. And I found that if you do the rearming first, right about the time you're ready to press the align button, the rearming should be finished. You can always readjust the arming after that. I'm going to leave it in Cat 1. Probably should be Cat 3, but we're not going to be doing any major maneuvering. There's definitely some stuttering on this one when I'm recording. This is just how I like to set up the cockpit. Do each person do it the way. So you're on completely right before the heading. First thing you do, or I always do I should say, take it off this waypoint. If you do anything accidentally, you're going to mess up the alignment. Set my initial comm, set my low altitude running. It's not constantly barking at me. I usually change my dogfight to HSD. And then now we can select a different waypoint and enter that as our target. This doesn't have to be too perfect. This is just to tell you kind of where the target is, how far you are from it. 610. again, normally you want to plan this out a little bit better. Pick a couple of waypoints to be your ingress. That way it'll steer you around threats and through good terrain. Alignment's ready. But I'm just trying to make this quick video here, which is also why I'm not going to be following any procedures. Usually the number one thing that will prevent you from doing this is aircraft. If you look and you're going to have less than 30 miles range to a hostile aircraft, when you get to the target, you can't do it. You might hit the target at that point, but you'll almost always die. Now, weaker aircraft like an F-5, MiG-21, something like that, you can probably get away with it. SU-27, definitely not. 2000, they'll catch you, or worse, shoot you right as you're trying to finish the attack. So in this case, because I'm by myself, I'm just going to be watching the radar warning receiver and the data link, listen to the AWACS and hoping. You can go up high or stay low the whole way. If you go up high, I find that defenses are more likely to react faster when you get there. You're also much more likely to run into aircraft. I'm going to turn my radar off. Hopefully that'll help prevent the aircraft from noticing me.
Altitude. Altitude.
And we'll just stay at basically nil power the whole way. In. Set up ground. You can ripple a couple, drop them in pairs. As long as you concentrate them pretty well, it seems to work out. In this case, for dropping the Mark 82s on a runway, I like to drop them in pairs because they're smaller bombs. It seems to work better on the runways. And when you switch to the CU-97s, you're all set up to drop all four anyway. Two pairs of two. Two pairs. So get yourself all set up. In this case, I'm going to put the HSD on the left, and that way I can see the stores in there.
Springfield 1-2, Overlord 1-1, Bra 174.
Now the runway is warned at 100, so I want to come in right about on runway heading, not too far off of it. So I'm going to fly a little bit off to the side until I'm at the right run-in angle. This ridge out here is very nice protection as you come in. So we're going to have to be too low again. Once you come out beyond this ridge, I think there's another one beyond it, but you want to start staying pretty low. Here's our target. Don't see any hostile aircraft on the data link in that area, so that looks like a good start. We'll see when we get closer. Now I'll drop the center tank at about 7,200. Just gonna look at everything. Hit those two because they're covered by the lock bar. Now generally when you're doing this, you want to stay as low as possible, between 50 and 70 feet. You can be a little higher depending on what terrain is around. You can even come in over the water, but then you got to be really low, 40 to 50 feet. And if you're going over terrain, you don't necessarily want to go, I don't want to fly right over this high point right here. It puts me nice and high. As soon as I cross that, everything on the other side is going to be able to see me. So aim for saddles. You don't have to go all the way around and through the gaps. But don't try to fly over the highest points. Thread the needle a little bit, and it'll help keep you concealed. Early in the morning, you don't want to be flying right into the sun either. No help for it here. You may want to fast forward the video here, and we got another 5 minutes probably before doing anything important. What I'll do, normally you'd go for the airfield first, but for the purposes of the video, I'm going to hit this SA3 site right here, and then continue on to hit the runway afterwards. Still no aircraft visible, nothing on the threat receiver. So far so good. As I say that, I search right so, but that's why you don't fly over the tops of the ridges. Again, better planning would be better so these search radars aren't spotting you out there behind this ridge now, but being lazy. Okay. Angle to come in on the runway is looking fairly good. Mainly we're going to go after this SA3 site. We don't have the waypoint there, that's okay. We use the ranges on the rings. Right now at this, it's 20 miles per ring. We're going to get this all the way down to 15. And what you want to do is pop up right around 3 miles from the target. Any farther, you're going to be up high too long. Any closer, you don't really have time to get a look at it and get the weapons on target. So 3 to 4 miles is probably the best. And depending on the wind or the terrain, sometimes you'll see for the Mark 97s, the CCIP pepper will move left and right. Don't do it. Don't chase it. Just trust if your wings are level, pickle where you're supposed to. They have a good spread. They'll hit. And even if it starts on the left, you'll find if you pickle there and hold the button down, it'll swing across as you cross the drop. So it'll work.
Up.
Just aiming for a lower spot to come around this mountain. We're now right about 15 miles. Switch this to our west.
Springfield 1-2, Overlord 1-1, Bra 209, Fort 110 at 18,000, flanking. Springfield 1-2, Overlord.
The hard part is when you pop the nose up, you're going to leave it pointing up, roll inverted, look out of the top of the canopy for the target. And once you find it, you got to pull the nose down, but don't go so low that the Mark 97s don't have time. You need to drop them around 2,000 feet, 1,500 feet at the very lowest. So now, just coming in, watching the HSD, making sure I'm centered on that SA3 site. This ridge is going to make me pump up a little bit early. Still stay fairly low. And there's 5 miles. 3. Pull the nose up about 30 degrees. Roll inverted. Keep the nose high. Look out at the top for the target. There it is. Pull the nose down onto the target. Line it up. Make sure your altitude is high enough. And you're looking at the radar altitude here, not the barometric. Pickle. Hold it for the 97s. They take a while. Right. 97s are gone. Switch to the snake eyes. You can continue descending because you don't have to be that high for the snake eyes. There's the airfield. There you see all the hits for that same site. That thing's pretty much gone. You only need to be about 250 feet for snake eyes. Just come in nice and low.
Fat flare. Fat flare. Fat flare.
And pickle. Okay, the twos are gone. Then you just need to get yourself safe.
Springfield 1-2, Overlord 1-1, Bravo 2-1-1, Fort 110 at 16,000, flanking. Springfield 1-2, Overlord 1-1, Bravo 2-1-1, Fort 110 at 16,000, flanking.
Altitude. Altitude.
Generally, you want to have your exit route planned too, if you can get some terrain between you and whatever you just hit, and especially get your tail onto any fighters. That will help you survive. But the rest of this is pretty easy. Just get yourself out, get back, and land. Hope that was useful. Good luck.